show you around the very cool and sexy new myBoiseState website here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of tell you what people can expect to find here at the myBoiseState landing page. And then I'm going to go through the student experience and the faculty and staff experience. The parent login is kind of easy, so we won't really get into that too much. And then I'm just going to, as I go through these, it'll introduce a lot of the new terms that we're trying to help the community with. And I really kind of think that our team, and especially you guys, are kind of the translation tool, right? Because we've got all of this way that we've been doing things, that we're doing things today. And then on the 25th, everyone's really excited about myBoiseState, but it's going to be different. And so they're going to be freaked out, and they're going to call the help desk. And so it's our job to kind of translate, oh, yeah, so you were talking about you know, getting into Bronco Web. For faculty and staff, we're calling that PeopleSoft now, and this is how you get in. And so hopefully these throughout the session, you're going to get all the little keywords that we're trying to implement to help people. And you know, we're really kind of change agents and translation tools to help the community with the new technology. And of course, like Tammy was saying, it's going to be evolving over the next year. So we're going to be translation tools for a while. Also, if you have any questions, there's a whole lot of data here that we've got to present. If you have any questions, if you could hold them to the end, that would be great, because we'll likely get to it. If I say something that doesn't make sense, then stop and let's clarify that so that you don't have to be confused. If I say something wrong, Tammy and Michelle will actually stop me, and so that's cool too. Also, again, Mark Dory, your friendly help desk manager, is going to be sending around a quiz, and I got to see it today, and it's very exciting. So listen well, take notes. No, I think it'll be helpful as a tool to orient us to all the new languages and processes. So the big thing here with the myBoiseState project is that when someone calls and they says, how do I log into X? You can say myBoiseState, and you're probably going to get it right, because everything is here now. And that's one of the really nice things about this project. For students, it's got the single sign-on, and so for students, it's a really slick you know, interface now. They can get everything through one sign-on. Faculty and staff, it's not to that level yet, but they're going to have one page that they can get to all of their URLs to all the new tools that are coming out. So here on the home page, as we're all aware, these are the sign-ins for each audience. One thing that you guys will need to know on the help desk is the create reset password link is right here, and this goes to the Oracle login or reset. So this is where folks that are, you know, totally lost, they can reset their password here. So when they say, hey, how do I reset my password? I've totally forgotten it. I can't get in. Just my.BoiseState. And it's right under the sign-in there. Parent login instructions are right here, and of course these are really instructions for the student, telling the student how to grant access to someone to be able to log into their account. The guest login, this is for folks that are thinking, you know, there may be community people and they're thinking, hey, I might want to take a class at Boise State, I want to check out the schedule. You have to log in as a guest to be able to see the schedule. So if someone calls and says, yeah, I just want to check it out, the guest login will probably get them to what they're looking for. Help Center. This link right here has all the answers in the world. Well, most of them anyway. A lot of good stuff around Boise State in general. So like if you get all those weird questions about, you know, how late does a bowling alley stay open, you might find it there actually, because there's a lot of great stuff, just general information about Boise State. Another thing that some people think is really cool and some people are terrified of is that under the Help Center, you see technical here, and every way that someone can contact us is listed there. The other thing to point out, to note, is that the live chat link is right here. So you know, when you're scheduled to be on chat duty, make sure that you're turned on, because people are gonna want your help that way. But it is a lot more upfront than maybe it's been in the past, and so you know, again, we're translation tools. We want people to use us. We want people to get to us, because that's going to help the whole community get comfortable with all these new tools a lot more quickly. We've got some flashy little banners around. Make sure to sign out. With students especially, the security requirements are, it's a lot more important for students to be sure they're signed out of everything now than in the past. Time reporting and paycheck info. So basically, these are going to be marketing tools. These are messages that are, it's a combination of the registrar's office, OIT communications, and marketing communications that are going to be putting these messages out. So as you guys are on the help desk and you see things change, it generally means it's going to be information that a lot of people around campus are going to need access to, because it's general audience kind of information. So as those things change, it's probably going to be good to be aware of them. Resource links. This is almost as cool as the other help link over here, except they just pulled things right out that people go to very frequently. Another thing that I'm going to point out here that we need to know on the help desk is the reinstate my.BoiseState access. Now, obviously, when someone calls the help desk, are they going to say, hey, will you reinstate my.BoiseState access? What are they going to say? Yeah, exactly. So again, we say, oh, yeah, we don't call it, Bronco Web anymore. We call it myBoiseState, and it's super cool. And you just go to my.boisestate.edu and click that resource link, and you can say reinstate my BoiseState access. So again, the answer when someone's lost is my.boisestate.edu. A note on browser compatibility. Essentially it works pretty well on all browsers. It's recommended to use Chrome or Firefox. There are some login quirks with IE that are still going on, and we're not going to get into what those are because they're probably going to be resolved, or everyone's going to be using Firefox and Chrome anyway by the time we launch. Right? Isn't that it? Okay, so now I want to take you through the experience, the expected general experience that a student will have when they come to myBoiseState and what they're going to have access to. So obviously, you click the big orange button, and you land on this screen that looks a whole lot like the screen that you log into right now, right? So we're going to use old Bert Bronco here. A few things about logging in. This is a single sign-on into myBoiseState, and it basically opens up every online resource. It opens a session to every online resource for students. So when people are logging in here, they're essentially also logging into their mail, also logging into all of their Google Apps, to Blackboard, and to Campus Solutions Student Center. So that's a whole lot of things happening at once. The very first time, like if there's a brand new student that's never logged into Bronco Web or Bronco Mail, they're going to get the BoiseState EULA that's the one that's pretty general, saying, hey, you've got to be aware, you've got to click to say yes, that you understand that you're sending your private information over the internet. So it's that basic EULA that everyone has to sign. So that's something that people may get hung up with. The next thing is that myBoiseState is using SharePoint technology, and it's going out to Google, and it's pulling in all kinds of information. And so Google is going to say, hey, is it okay with you, dear user, dear student, for us to give myBoiseState access to this information? And when you say yes, then you get in. If you say no to any of that, you don't get in. So it's real simple. But that is something that some people may be hesitant about, or they may think it's a security risk or something. But it is part of the system. It is part of the design, and they can click yes, and it's super safe to do that, and that's what they need to do. So I'm going to log in as Bert Bronco. We're going to get the cool arrows to build the anticipation. That's why they put that there. It really loads super fast, but they just wanted to build the anticipation for the 25th. All right, so this is myBoiseState for students. This is the landing page. So everything that you've ever wanted to see is right there in front of you all of a sudden. I'm just going to kind of go through these one by one through the left nav, and then the center, and then the right-hand side, just to be systematic about it so I don't forget what we're doing. So Bronco Mail, once we log into myBoiseState, Bronco Mail, you click the link. You notice that I didn't have to log in again. It just opens it up in a new tab. So I can hang out here in Bronco Mail, do all my mail. I can get to all of my Google Apps information the same way that I've always been able to. When I'm finished, I can just close out here, and then we're back to myBoiseState. Oh, forgot to hit send on that draft email. You log right back in, and you're back in. People can log out here. Depending on browser caching, they may or may not be able to have that single sign-on again. I think for the most part that's been fixed. But if someone was in their mail session and they log out, they may have to log back in when they click Bronco Web or Bronco Mail. So that's something just to be aware of if people are saying, hey, single sign-on isn't working. It could just be browser caching. You know, dump the cookies and everything's cool generally. Another thing about timeouts here, myBoiseState has a 20-minute timeout. Google doesn't have any timeout. Blackboard has a 3-hour timeout. So if we're doing kind of the normal, you know, getting our business done around campus thing, and we've got Blackboard open here, and notice I didn't have to sign in again. It just let me right in. Isn't that cool? I think that's just super cool. So they let me right into Blackboard, let me right into Mail. So I'm toggling back and forth between Blackboard and Mail, and myBoiseState is going to time out in 20 minutes. It's going to kill that session, but it's not going to kill my Blackboard session. And can someone clarify for me where we are with it killing the Google session? Just so it doesn't. I know that there was an email thread going through this afternoon that. Okay.
Well, we're waiting for a little clarification on that.
Okay.
At this point in time.
Okay. So basically, myBoiseState is going to time out after 20 minutes of inactivity, and it's not going to kill the other sessions. So, you know, if you're in the middle of something in Blackboard, myBoiseState is going to time out. It's not going to jack you up in Blackboard. Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you leave all your sessions, everything times out, when you close the browser, like browser windows.
Not necessarily. If that's vague enough.
It's vague enough.
Okay, cool. Because I'm marketing and communications, I can be vague. They won't let me talk about IT. So again, with you know, with the Blackboard experience, you just click Blackboard, and you're going to get right in. Again, you can cruise around Blackboard, do the same things that you always do there. Another really cool thing is the Student Center, which when you click that, that's not what you're going to see on the 25th. I'm positive. I imagine it's pretty intense over with the developers right now, getting all this nuts and bolts tightened. So when you click the oh gosh, what's it even called? Thank you. The Student Center. You're gonna get logged in here. Now this isn't even what you guys see today. So you've got a new look to it as well as access to new information. What they've done is, I think they've done a really nice job of bringing right to the home page when you log in a lot of the information that people typically want to get to see. You've got all your class information here, how much money Bert Bronco owes. He owes a lot of money. And again, this environment is going to behave just like your just like Bronco Web today. One thing that's going to happen is that your favorites are going to go away in all the HR and student administration areas. So you're going to have to go. You're going to have to travel back to your the pages that you want to be favorited, and you're going to have to reset those favorites. Michelle's going to give you the whole talk on that. So that's basically the student experience. Again, when you're logged into the student administration, that has a 20-minute sign out also, and that's independent as long as it's in a separate tab. Yeah, Greg.
Is there a single sign out?
Yes, there is. Sorry, you guys, the show yesterday was much better. You missed it. So that was Student Center. Also here at the myBoiseState landing page is a link right to the library. That's a building here on campus, great resources for students. Student resources, this is the same list that we get on the myBoiseState homepage. So it's also right here under your fingertips. Again, the marketing messages, technical contact information right here in myBoiseState. So as you know, folks are experiencing something that they don't understand, they're going to be able to get right in to contact us. So in the center, we have what's called My Academics, and what the project team has done here is they've taken out some common things that students need to accomplish, and they've put them right up front. They're going to be unleashing some other web apps here, and so a lot of the things that are kind of hidden in Student Center right now, they're going to try to bring up front here. Enrollment verification is one of those things that was kind of hidden before to find, and now it's just a single click, logs you right into the Student Clearinghouse, and you can print this out. This is for, I think typically students use this for maybe internship applications where they have to verify they're a student, or maybe certain scholarship applications, maybe job applications. So that's very easy to get to. That's very easy to get to now. The change major. This is a new web app, and it's also a completely new process on the administrative side for what this is. Essentially, what can happen today in Bronco Web, you can go in and you can change your major to whatever you want, and you're that major. And then you walk into the art department at the beginning of next semester, and they're like, yeah, well, do you draw, do you sculpt? And it's like, no, I can't do any of that. And so it wastes a lot of people's time. So what they've done is they've basically built in some interventions here so that students can still go ahead and say, I want to be an art major, and I want to do illustration. And they hit submit changes, and what that basically does is it sends a notification to the academic department saying the student is wanting to get into your program. And then the academic department sends an email with very explicit instructions back to the student about the next steps that they need to take. So obviously with an art student, they'll need to show some sort of portfolio. Engineering students a lot of times have to show some sort of a project they've done. Music students have auditions. So it's really helping the academic departments have kind of a little advising session with the student, making sure that they're going to be successful in the program and have everything that they need so that they can get into the classes that they need and that sort of thing. So a really cool tool for change major for the students and for the academic departments. I think they've done a really nice job with this one. The weird thing with this is that you do have to click close here to get back to myBoiseState. It doesn't open in a new tab. This is something that we're not going to be seeing at all, ever, so that's very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, how do you like that? So let's see what we get here. So you can see that I didn't have to sign back in, that my session was still running. So this is one of the things that is I think super important that I would want to know as a student and want to be reminded of, is that as long as my browser's open, people have access to my student life here, right? And so getting to Greg's question, there is a single sign out here. Before I talk about the sign out though, this is something that isn't a functional issue, but the curious types are going to notice and call us. Under Bert Bronco's name there, you'll see an email address. This is just the default email address in Active Directory. So regardless of which account, because you can sign into Student Center with an employee account, but it's only going to show the student email and student calendar, and it's going to show whichever email is the default. So you could sign as a student if you have a student and an employee account, and it's likely it's going to show the employee email because that's the default in Active Directory, or there may not be any email address at all if there's no default in Active Directory, which we hope is the case for most people because then they won't even see anything confusing. Oh, I forgot to talk about the other cool things over here. The browser compatibility notice and production notice, these are going to be real important for you guys to pay attention to as they change out. Good information about what the experience is going to be. Outages are going to be listed here. As things are going to be coming online, there'll be notifications about that. So a lot of good information is going to be presented to students here. Calendars. The upcoming calendar down here is simply your student Gmail calendar. it only pulls 2 weeks out. So if someone calls and they say, hey, my calendar's not working, it could just be that they don't have any events for the next 2 weeks. So that's something to be aware of. Also, it doesn't always pull in shared calendars. So that's something that I think is still, it's going to be a Amazonification feature that's going to roll out later. The academic calendar, this is really great. Right under your fingertips, all the dates for registration dates, drop dates, everything that you need to know so that you don't end up spending too much money on a class you're going to flunk, basically. So right under your fingertips there at my.BoiseState. So I don't know, do people call in about those kinds of things to the help desk? Yeah. Oh, right, okay. So this is basically the student experience, and I'm going to sign out now. And when I hit the sign out button, I'm basically getting my, we're going to kill all your sessions message here. So it's saying, signing out of myBoiseState.edu will also sign you out of Google, Blackboard, and PeopleSoft. Do you wish to continue? And yes, we want to continue. We want to sign out.
A quick question.
Yes.
When we were doing the testing for it, if you have Blackboard open and then click the sign out, Blackboard is still active?
Yeah, at the time we were doing that testing, that is true. This does kill everything now, and that's the intent. So I'm going to close the browser. I'm a Mac user, so I've just kind of got that little tick that I always close the browser to make sure all my sessions are dead. Now I'm going to kind of go through the faculty, staff, and student employee experience of myBoiseState. And that's one thing to be aware of. You're not going to be able to get into like your time reporting when you're logged in as a student. So you're going to have to log in with your employee account to get there. Uh-oh. One other thing, I'm going to talk a little bit about multiple accounts. I know that sometimes you guys have your a student session running and an employee session running at the same time. Right now, you're going to have to run those in separate browsers because when you log in if you're logged into one Google account and you try to log into myBoiseState, it's going to show a selection box and say which account do you want to go in, and that's a typical kind of Google experience, right? Again, you can get in once you get in. If you're logging into the student experience, you're only going to get student mail and calendar regardless of which account you log in with. So an employee could be very confused by that if they're thinking they're logging in as a student. When you log into the student section, student experience, you're getting student information. Let me make sure I get all this, because there's some other things about multiple accounts. So if you want to be logged in at the same time with your employee account and your student account, you'll want to log in two different browsers. So now I'm going to go through the faculty staff sign-in. And when I click the button, I didn't even get a login. So I don't know if that's going to confuse people. The last place I worked, that would confuse people, and they would call about it. It's like, oh, I didn't have to log in. It's like, well, you don't have a login yet. So that's something that we'll be able to help folks through with. The cool thing about this for faculty and staff is that all the tools that we use all the time at different URLs are all at the same place now. So we don't have to go all over through our browser favorites or all over the internet trying to find things. Everything that we use all the time is right here. So Google Apps is basically a link to Google Apps. Log in here and it's the same experience that you have in your employee accounts. PeopleSoft. This is a different experience altogether. So for faculty and staff, Bronco Web is becoming PeopleSoft. So that's likely going to generate some calls. How do I get into Bronco Web? Because it's not even on the myBoiseState faculty staff page. We don't even see Bronco Web here. So that's going to be something. Also, people may refer to, how do I get into PeopleSoft back office? we get to all of that now through what's the single sign-on project into the PeopleSoft Campus Solutions. So I'm going to try to log in here with an account that has a whole lot of security roles. The homepage here is contextualized depending on your security roles. And so when you log in, one thing to note is that up here in the blue ribbon is how we can tell which PeopleSoft environment we're in. Notice that we land in student administration. This is going to be the biggest thing for employees to learn, I think, because I even forgot it in our training one day. In student administration, you can do student things. Down here on the left, you can see PeopleSoft systems. We've got financial and human resources. So to do human resources things, we've got to go to human resources. To do financial kinds of things, we go to financial. So that's likely going to be something that we're going to need to help the community get through. But what you can do here, depending on your role, you're going to have access to your personal information. You'll have access to Student Center. So generally, you know, this is I think geared mainly toward faculty. So you have access to Student Center, access to Faculty Center, Advisor Center, Financial Aid, and the opt-in emergency alert. So they've kind of overhauled all the accounts and security roles. So this should be really clean for most folks. Some people call in, it's like, hey, how do I get to Faculty Center? And you know, it would be one of those it would be a big anomaly. It wouldn't necessarily be a problem with Campus Solutions. It's probably something that the accounts folks get to deal with. So you can do all of your student administration here. Now I'm going to click over to Human Resources, and depending on where we are this afternoon, hold that thought, I'm still clicking. Oh, so I'm going to sign out and try with another account here. So I just logged in with a separate account so that I can show you access to these other things. This is my account, and it's just super boring when I log in here because I don't have any security roles, so that's why I showed you the other one. But I do have some human resource things to do over here. So for time reporting, this is how you guys as student employees and how I as an employee will go in to report time. So you can see that HR opened up, and I didn't have to sign into a separate system here, right? So that's that joint login project. You'll notice on the blue ribbon that I'm now in the HR environment of PeopleSoft. And all of the things that I'm typically going to need to do as an employee on a pretty regular basis, they've brought all of those right up front in this menu here. So time reporting is right there for me, and I don't have to do much other than that. So it's pretty easy for me to get to this now. Now on the 25th, like right now I have a favorite to time reporting, so I don't have to think about it. On the 25th, all of my favorites are going to go away, so I'm going to have to navigate to that page or do a search on that page. Now if I do the search for time reporting in the student environment, I'm not going to find it. Why? Yeah, exactly. It's not there. So that's another thing that the community is going to have to kind of learn where different things are. So I'm going to click out of that one. Financial information. This is, I think, mainly for PeopleSoft back office type folks, which is now just called Campus Solutions, PeopleSoft. And again, most of the things that people have been doing in PeopleSoft back office, they're going to be able to do through the menus here. So all the menus just like they have been.
Are we going to get time to mess around with it before we try to help people with it? Because
that's a good question. Any of you that helped us with the training should be able to sign in with those accounts. So yeah, it's a great idea to get in and play around some more. I will say that there are some quirky things going on because it is in development that aren't going to be the experience. So just know that if you run into issues that
You can get it to myBoiseState and help desk. You may be able to get it to PeopleSoft. I'm not sure if everyone can, but definitely try. If not, then it's
yeah.
Come in a few minutes early for your shift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Will this be like your normal myBoiseState credentials now to get into back office things?
Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, you guys.
You
It's
mentioned no report card.
exactly excellent point. Yeah, when you go to PeopleSoft here, the 4, 7, and 8 accounts are not going to work here anymore because they don't have to work anymore because you're just going to log in with your myBoiseState account. Thank you. Blackboard, it's a link to blackboard.boisestate.edu. It's just nice that it's right there on the left nav for us. Albertson's Library, again, just links to things that people use around campus. My Insights, and they've got reporting there in parentheses. There's a lot of names that people call this around campus, kind of depending on what their job is. Some people call it data warehouse, pro clarity, reporting services. What they've basically done is they've taken about 200 reports out of Campus Solutions, put them into the new My Insights tool, and the idea is that they're trying to consolidate all reporting services through My Insights. So I'm going to show you through that just real quickly. The login here, again, it's just your BoiseState login. And it's kind of a no-frills site. You know, most people that are going to log into here kind of know what they're here for and what they're going to do. So they just kind of go over to course reports. And you've basically got your list of reports that are available to you. This is another thing folks may call and say, hey, I don't have access to the report that I used to have. First, make sure that they're in My Insights rather than in Campus Solutions trying to find it, because a lot of those have moved over. And when you click on one of the reports, some of them default with data. Some of them you have to enter parameters before you can see the results. And it's just your typical kind of Microsoft reporting tool here. Oh, hey, look at this. Maybe they've got it fixed for us now. So you go in and select your options and hit apply, and it'll do its little dance, and then it'll show you all the data here. So that you can see that like English 197 has 142% enrollment rate, and that's why freshmen end up having English at 8 in the morning. Yeah.
Is there a plugin or anything to get those controls at the top?
I don't think I've ever downloaded a plugin. And again, then you just sign out of that. With the faculty and staff, they're going to sign in and sign out pretty much the way that we do today. With the students, with the single sign-on, it's a little trickier because you've got all these sessions open at once, so you want to make sure that you kill all the sessions before you're done. Again, with the Help Center, the link to all the knowledge in the universe that's not on Wikipedia, and then technical help information. You know, folks are going to know how to find us. They moved it up to the top on the list for faculty and staff, you may have noticed. Again, all the messaging here, as it changes out, is probably going to be important for you guys to be semi-aware of what's going on there, so that as people see something new or experience something new, that you've already got the inside information. And again, that great resource links list is right here for you. And that is myBoiseState for students and faculty staff experience. And Michelle is going to come up and show us how to get to all the good information.